Hey, it's Monday again. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? We back at it.
We
It's
back
the
at
two
it.
guys who do nothing but motivate you to start your week. Is Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday, y'all. You can't beat this with a baseball bat. Me and this gentleman here, and he started this probably a little over 2 years ago, but we've been keeping it going, and we can't wait to get on here and talk about empowering and or things that will allow you to be in the best place possible mentally, physically, and spiritually. And we have the opportunity to mix it all in and put that gumbo together. We feed it to you, and hopefully it's like that good soup that you get. You know, when you had your mother's chicken noodle soup, warmed up the insides, made you feel good. That's what we feel like we're doing with this show here. My name is Amir A. Rock Sealy.
Good
And
to
the
meet
guy
you,
over there on
Amir.
the other side is the one and only, goes by one name, by the way, Talent. But here's the best part. Today in particular is this man's birthday. So first
Oh
off, I
shit.
want to give a big birthday shout out to my partner in crime and to the man who got this whole thing started. Talent, happy birthday. Salute to you, King. How was the weekend?
Hey, bro. This how you know. This how you know I'm like I be in some sort of zone because that fast I forgot my birthday. When you said that, I'm like, you know what I mean? Um, the weekend was stupendous, brother. First of all, let me say this. We did Friday was crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saturday, I get back up with Aldo. We drive out to PA and we go to Eastern PA. Shout out to the young ladies out there who promoted Saturday's show. Shout out to the Warehouse, um, which is the venue, which was beautifully dressed up. Everything, Amir. When you go into like, here's the thing about comedy. When you go into a comedy club, it's built and set up supposed to be proper. It's already, it's already there. You just really grab the mic, you do what you do. You get your intro, boom. But then you got what you call it. You got places that we call like makeshift venues. So it could be a hotel ballroom, it could be a club, it could be what this was really a naturally had the right name because it was a real warehouse. But these rooms was, top state of the art, fresh paint. Like, I mean, you can tell the whole place was just done. So it's just an open space, basically. And you go in there and you make it be what you want it to be. And when I tell you these young ladies made this thing the most perfect looking thing I've seen in a long time, and not just looking aesthetically, the sound, lighting, the setup of the chairs and tables and couches and the food and I, when I immediately read the flyer and it said BYOB, I said, because that's usually a hole in the wall. But it was elegant as hell, and they had the setup, like the bar setup, but the bar setup was really for your mixes, your ice, your cups, the things you may need to
Nice.
go with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pay $1, you get your ice or your mix or whatever, and it was dope. The sound, I was really impressed by the sound. So shout out to those ladies at the warehouse in Eastern PA. I will go out there in a heartbeat again. And then we got up the next morning. We drove to, which was Easton's like 2 hours away. We came back towards this way an hour to go to New Brunswick because it was Mother's Day. We're at the Stress Factory. Shout out to Power, make it happen. Promotions. We did 2 shows, a matinee 3:30 and a 7 with headliner Michael Collier. Sold both these packed houses, 2 packed houses.
Nice.
He was impeccable. But I have yet to see him not be impeccable. He was impeccable. So we end off that. It was crazy as hell. And whenever I have good shows, I'm motivated. Like the number one motivation for me is to come off a good show. I guess it's like your brother played NBA. I guess it's like playing ball, like at a professional level. And you know how they always the commentators, he has the momentum.
Yeah.
So I guess it's that type of thing where you feel the momentum. The only thing more motivating than that, I think, is world is probably cocaine. Uh,
Okay.
and I say that because I know you've seen it went viral, Amber Heard. So the
No.
trial's going on with Johnny Depp
Oh,
and Amber
yeah.
Heard,
Uh-huh.
and they caught her doing cocaine.
Damn it,
She's
man.
not just in the courtroom, bro. She's on the stand. And she did some slick shit where you could see her put some shit on the napkin. You know how you need a tissue to wipe your nose? But
Uh-huh.
she don't realize when she went up to her nose, she did the full sniff like and did
Oh,
the after cocaine joint. Yo, they
oh.
went viral with this joint, right? So I got to shout her at the top. So I thought that was hilarious. Anyway, how was your weekend, brother? Did you have a good one? Did you have a great one?
Another great weekend. First of all, again, it kicked off with an amazing, amazing night. Friday night with you. Another birthday celebration under the belt. We had the pleasure of, like you said, having Michael Collier. We had a few other comedians who I'd never met, but all incredible, incredible talents. The space that we were in was dope. The energy in the room was super impeccable. We even had some legends in the building. Red Alert stopped through. We had Al Scratch from Ill and Al Scratch, for those of y'all who remember that rap group.
Bro, he
And we
crushed.
just, yeah,
He
and we
came to
just,
stress too, by the way.
oh, he did,
Yeah, he
yeah,
closed out the second show too.
and we just had a great time Friday night, even though it was rainy and crappy. The that made up for all of the odd weather that we had, so that was dope. Saturday, I made it a recoup day, so I kind of laid around and just kind of got my energy back together. Did some cleaning, maintenance around the crib. Sunday was Mother's Day, man. I, made the calls to the various mothers in my circle who, I know could use that pick me up and that phone call or text message to just say that, I appreciate the hard work and the determination. And then I just got ready for work today, went into work and it was another day, one more day up under the belt. It's
But
Monday's
you good
down.
at you good
Huh?
at this. This is what you do. You good at this. Let me give you your flowers right now. First of all, everybody, let me explain something to you. What and I don't know if anybody ever told you this. I love this. I love this part about you, where I respect your honesty, bro. Too many of us out here hide behind falsehoods or front left and right. Amir is so real with his shit. Like if something going on and Amir don't feel he adequately got a lot of money and he know they're gonna be spending money that night, but he'll let you know, hey man, I don't know about tonight, nigga. My resources, and first of all, I love the word resources. My resources, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, nigga, you fam. I got money, you got money. Like, we got whatever, we got whatever. We good. It's my fucking birthday. Just bring your ass. Now, I grew up with a motherfucker, I ain't gonna say no names, AD. Uh, he was infamous for getting up to the goddamn door, wherever the fuck he was going, and be like, hey man, you gotta. And I'm like, no, why don't you tell a motherfucker before we pick you up? What's good? Don't do that to me, bro. You don't know if somebody got it or can or won't or whatever the case may be. Don't do that because now what's gonna happen? Like, let's say we rode an hour away to some shit, and you do that shit and nobody got it, and now we all got to turn around because we ain't gonna leave you outside. You know what I mean? Like, so you done fucked up everybody tonight. So don't do that. So I love and respect that about you, and you always been the same dude with that. You know what I mean? I want to send a special shout out to the ladies, the mothers out here. Look, she's a mother. Look at she's a mother. 2 letters in. All of the ladies I didn't get a chance to talk to or say Happy Mother's Day because I was working and didn't take that time. I'm saying it now. Salute y'all on this motivational Monday. On today's show, we got 2 guests coming in, respecting 2 guests. We have a life coach coming in, my girl, when she comes in, I'll properly introduce her, and my business partner slash road manager slash agent slash best friend slash baby brother from another mother, Q Diddy. He's going to come in. He's an entrepreneur. We've been in business over 25 years together, whatever the case may be. And because these people can contribute to what we are talking about today. Today's show is based around impact,
Yes.
human and humanity, and more importantly, human impact. And what I mean by that, I'm gonna set the stage by saying this, and I'm gonna set the stage of what I mean, and I got to go back to why we're here. One never knows the impact, whether you know it or not. People, every person we talk to, cross paths with, touch, spend time with. have any type of affiliation or intertwinement with, we leave an impact, whether you realize it or not. And a lot of times we're so busy in our motion, our daily motion, we do not pay attention to said impact. Self included. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I say that right out the gate. I'm not sitting here like I know this and I pay attention to it either. I'm guilty of it. And what brings this to the forefront today is it's birthday time. And Amir, I don't know if it's because we in this COVID shit, because a lot of things have changed as we're starting to come back outside the COVID. People are more appreciative of a lot of shit. So I don't know if that has a lot to do with it, but it feels like this month, going to the birthday month from May 1st, actually the 30th, down in DC with us last weekend, from that all the way up to now, and it's only been just the ninth.
2 weeks,
yeah. 9 days, right? And I can't really count the night. I ain't go outside yet, right? But 8 days of seeing different people in different places. And people felt the need, most of them, to come up to me and speak on the impact that I may have had on them. Whether it was a show 20 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, maybe they was going through something and that show, that laughter, that night changed the trajectory of the outcome of what they was dealing with. I do remember several times in this business. That's why I tell people, when people keep seeing like the people run on the stage and Chappelle and Will Smith and Chris Rock, people, oh my God, it's unstable. People, let me pull the curtain back on comedy. It's always been like this. You just are now privy to all these cameras and social media where people can catch it and put it out there. Perfect case in point, in Virginia Beach, the same club I just did 3 weeks ago, Tony Bird was down there on stage and a fight broke out. And she posted the fight web. But this always goes on. But now she's able to do this, put it out there. People go, oh my God, and you think it's new. But comics who've been doing it over 10 years know that it's always been like the veterans will tell you. But I'm running into a bunch of different people in different cities and places. And they're giving me their perspective on the impact that me or something to do with me or a show or somebody who was on the show had in their life. And I'm listening to it, and for whatever reason, I guess just the way they feel like they got to say it, I feel like I got to hear it. And in that light and spectrum, bro, I'm like, wow, you know what? Every now and then I do say, hey, I made an impact on this person, individual things, but it's such a cluster going on right now. I thought that we would talk about it today. And people need to pay attention to the impact we as individuals. Not if you're entertaining. You don't have to be entertaining. You could be a regular Joe Schmo. You know, you could be a bus driver, a custodian, a counselor, a camp counselor, a teacher, a medic, a nurse, whatever. But you come across somebody and you have impacted their life in some form or fashion. And I think we need to pay more attention to that, you know, going forward if we can. I mean, you're not going to be able to do it every second of the day and all that. But every now and then, pay attention to it. You know what I mean? Because even though I'm a comedian and I'm an entertainer and I may have impact on people's lives, I also, these people collectively have impact on my life. We just started the show with that.
Yeah.
We just started the show with that. The two girls, it's two girls who partnered up this promotion Saturday in Pennsylvania. And then there's another young lady who kind of owns the venue. So it's these three black women. And they're making it happen. And right, this is like the second or third show or whatever. And they do different shows and other people are renting the place. But it's a black-owned business. And they're doing their thing. And I walked away impacted myself. And I told Aldo, I was like, dude, I went up to the DJ who provided the sound. I said, bro, he's like, oh my God, good to meet you. I was like, nah, let me get you props, bro. I said, yo, your sound tonight? I mean, it's easy for a DJ to have the sound ready for the music. But to have it ready for us talking in the mic, there's always some sort of problem sometimes where we got to kind of do a impromptu sound check. And this wasn't the case. And I let him know. I said, bro, you did a standalone job tonight. He has impacted me. I left that place with the biggest cheese and smile and happy everything went well and blah, blah, blah. You impact people and you don't even know it. I've seen people, I did a show, maybe now it's almost 2 months. I was in Atlanta one night. And the show didn't turn out like the young lady wanted it to. She had a light crowd. I would say 30 people in this big ass place that probably could put 300. So, but at the end of the show, like I gave a show, like you wouldn't have thought it was 30 people. You're like, this dude's acting like he's goddamn Barclays, right? So I went hard. But when I ended, in my mind, my first impression was I was judgmental. Like, I'm not even gonna set up my merch. It's 30 people, blah blah blah. They're probably gonna leave right afterwards. But then I had such a good time, and I went so hard, and they really appreciated the show. I said, you know what? Set your merch up, and I'm glad I did, because this guy comes over, and let's say 2 or 3 couples bought some stuff. This guy comes over, and damn near bought the rest of the 30 people an item, whether it was a T-shirt, whether it was the comedy calendar, whether it was a hat, whatever. Bottom line, these 30 people, I made more money selling merch in this room of 30 people than I did the night before in a room of 300 people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you never know the impact which lies in whatever it is you do in the path we cross. And I'm sure been privy to this.
Yeah. And it's so funny using the word impact, and to your point, the return on that, because there is a return on the sharing of yourself.
Right.
People don't understand that the sharing of yourself has a profound energy or waves that go out into the universe, and then those waves come back. The fun part about it is when they come back and how they come back. Because to your point, same thing, running, with you in and out of spaces that we've been running out in and out of, not only, for your birthday, but just with the things that we've been doing in general. Coming across so many different people who have, come up and said, you know what? I've laughed with you. I've cried with you. Between your motivational Mondays, between some of the other, lives I've seen you, partake in and participate on, and always coming away with something. Like Amir, you say things in a way, or you express things in a way that have impacted me in a really great way. Like I come away feeling good, or it's
Right.
information or advice that I could utilize later, or I think to myself like, wow, I hadn't looked at it from that perspective. And I think to, everybody's talent, and that's what it, boils down to. We all have different talents. Some of us are naturally great with giving of ourselves in the sense of being wordsmiths. So you have your rappers, you have your singers, you have your poets, and so forth and so on. Then you have people who are great at giving of their time. So they show up, they come out, they're supportive, they make
Right.
sure that they, come and give of their time. How could I be helpful? You need me to move anything. You need me to, help out over here, or, get things situated. But all of these acts of service really on a broader scale are, to your point, very impactful. The beauty of it is you just have no idea of what that impact is in the
No.
moment. A lot of times the impact of it doesn't come to you until a later time. Sometimes it comes to you right in the moment, because I know for a fact, like the law of attraction things that I send out, I get sometimes DMs from people who say, yo, that one today was my whole
Today.
day. Like I needed that. You don't understand. I mean, like I don't know how you thought that up. And I'm like, no, I just, and the law of attraction thing, for those who may or may not know what I'm talking about, there is a thing that comes up on IG, law of attraction, and they just appeal to me because I just think and feel with what has gone on and the way we've been impacted negatively by a lot of the stuff that has happened in the last 2 years. We could all use some positivity. And what these things do is just give you some insight into train of thought, actions, and how they can compel you to move into a different space than where you are. Because sometimes we need that encouragement. And sometimes it comes from friends and family. Sometimes it comes from the darndest places. It could be a meme. Sometimes it comes from seeing or watching a movie, or, all these nefarious things. It's funny. You use the word impact, and I'm just go a little bit deeper. So this weekend, Saturday, as a matter of fact, while I was home, and I don't know if you've seen this movie yet, but there's a movie on Netflix, and it has Ryan Reynolds, Zoe Zalanda, um, the gentleman who plays the Incredible Hulk, the new guy who plays
You,
Incredible Hulk,
it's called
and
man, I seen it.
but I watched that,
Yeah.
and what made me really loved the movie was the fact that an older version of himself got a chance to go back and see a younger version of himself. And it had me thinking, I was thinking to myself, I said, Dag, if the 53-year-old me got a chance to go back and meet the 10 or 12-year-old me, who obviously had some challenges, because we all have challenges, especially at earlier stages in our lives. And in those challenges, we find ourselves like, yo, I don't understand why I'm going through this. The beauty of it is the impact that it's going to have on you later in life is so incredible. Then begin to understand again how impactful and the way that that's going to shape your life. So when I saw the movie, I was bugging because I was like, yo, I didn't, it was kind of, how you be scrolling through, and I was like, well, what's this? And to be honest, I'm a Ryan Reynolds fan. I've become a
Me
fan of
too.
his
Me
just
too.
because of how he
It's called.
acts
By the
and
way,
the way.
it's called the Adams Project. The Adam Project.
Yes, yes, the Adam Project, exactly. And I just become a fan of his because of watching him do what he does in terms of even how he talks. Like his acting to me is representative and quintessential of how we all really want to be able to act and talk. But most of us are scared to have
Right.
that format or that version of ourselves come to the forefront because, people are like, well, I'm used to seeing you in this format. I'm used to you being in this format. And I always try to tell people, look, you are meeting representatives and or versions of people based off of what your energy and your actions do. So they're matching that. So if you meet Talent the
Yeah.
asshole or you meet Amir the asshole, it's because you brought out Talent or Amir the asshole. But if you meet nice Talent, if you meet nice Amir, it's because in your what you call it, you brought that out. We don't look at it that way. And people go, well, I didn't bring that out. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
everything that you manifest is a manifestation coming from you. It's not coming from any place else. That's all you. I know people don't want to take credit for it because they be like, well, something bad happened. It only takes a split second for you to think something negative and bring it to reality, whether you believe it or not. I know some people have a tough time with that, but as I always do, I challenge you to look back over the course of your life and think of moments where things have happened and you go, you know what? I didn't even think about that.
And
So
I
I
like I like you brought up that the Adam Project because that is a dope thing to go back like that. Like that reminds me of I don't know if you ever seen the documentary The Lenny Cook Story. Now
haven't seen it, but I've heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
that to me one of the best basketball player documentaries. He's probably the greatest dude that never was professionally. For people that don't know Lenny Cook, look it up. Lenny Cook on the streets, pound for pound, he was to people for the public opinion at large. He was better than LeBron. He was a little better than LeBron coming up out of that high school and about to go pro thing and all that. Problem with Lenny Cook was he fucked up. And, being a dude out of the hood, a lot of the times the guys out of the hood, they break the rules. They do things that's forbidden, whatever, whatever. And when they get caught, the powers that be, if they catch them, they punish them by inadvertently blackballing you and getting in the way and just putting up a barricade. So long story short, for him, they blocked him from getting to the league. He's sitting home thinking he's gonna get drafted because he jumped nice, and they actually skipped over his black ass, right? Changed all the trajectory of how his life would end up going after that. Drugs and hang with the wrong people and this, that, and the third. And next thing you know, life as he knew it, because all he had was basketball. All that passed him by. And the dopest part is the end, because the end, it does a screen thing where it takes the old him and he's talking back to the young him. Now he's not really talking, it's one of those superimposed things with the camera, but he's like, yo, pay attention to this, man. Listen to this, boom, boom. Obviously in real life it's too late, but that last scene up there was so crazy to me. Like, can you imagine? And that's what the Adam Project did, the same thing. Yeah. And when you look at it, I think that they took a page out of that. When you see that LeBron commercial where LeBron is
Yes,
talking to the younger
to
him,
a younger.
right? I think they took that clip out of that Lenny Cook. So that's a great thing that you bring that up, and that's why one of our guests today, Esme V, is a life coach. And let me say a little something about her before I bring her on her because I think she dipped out again. But I will say this. So she's one of those girls that, young ladies that, she pops up in my feed all the time on the gram, and she's modeling certain people's clothing lines and products and stuff like that. She's an entrepreneur herself. Um, but I never really clicked on the profile and see what she was about. It was one night I remember just being in here watching TV, probably like a Monday off like this. And I see she went, you get the notification up top, she went live. So I go to the live. And matter of fact, let's bring her in. Esme V is in, life coach. Welcome to Motivation Monday. And I'm just gonna keep telling her. So I go bring them up. How you doing, darling?
Hey,
How are you
Hey
today?
guys.
Welcome to
I'm
Motivation
sorry guys,
Monday.
I was late a little bit.
No, it's
that's
okay.
all good.
I was just telling you came right on time. I was telling Amir and our audience how we got to this point is, I'm up one night and you go live, right? And I've known you for popping in. You do some nice boomerang stuff in the club. You got your girls
Yeah.
pumped, all that. And then one night you're up doing a live, and I said, "Let me see what you're talking about." I click on it, and I'm watching you and another young lady talk some real positive ish. I mean, real. Why is that? Talk some real positive ish, right? And
The
I'm
dog
now
knows I'm in the building.
yeah, I'm captivated. And then your stuff was so positive. I said, "Yo, she's gonna be good." I just got once we know I know the topic that we're doing that fits right up the alley. I want to have you on. So we've been talking about the impact, and you're a life coach, so this is perfect. We're talking about the impact of people's like just human connections that a lot of us sleep on. We don't think about it. We go through life, we mosey along, we go to work, we go to kick the kids, blah, 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 but we're intertwining and working and dealing with other people, whether it's work or play. And we may not think about a year down the line, 6 months down the line, 6 years on. In my case, I'm 30 years in comedy. I'm still meeting people every day I'm out. That's talking about, oh, I seen you in 98. You did this, you did that. Now, half this shit I can't remember, right? But I'm listening because it impacted this person. So I'm captivated on that. Now, as a life coach, this is my co-host, Amir Silly, by the way. As a life coach, what do you tell people? Do you ever have to deal with this topic that we're talking about, first of all, and then how you go about dealing with it?
Um, First and foremost, thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate the invite. I, I love to talk clearly, right? um, so I think that we don't, as people, we don't stop to think about what our actions do for people. I get messages all the time from young ladies that are telling me that I'm changing their lives, or that, I said something that motivated them, or, like, oh, your confidence, it does something for me and to me. And that pushes me every single day to want to move forward, to want to do more, to want to kind of be people's full glass. So I feel like this is a great topic of discussion because I personally decided to end a lot of things in my life because I wasn't living up to, my memes, and I wanted to be more than just a meme. I wanted to actually become that woman that actually was a reflection of my positivity, and that was encouraged by somebody else's life that impacted me.
That's a journey. So in other words, you're bringing things into fruition. Like, you know what I mean? We a lot of us post memes and we say it, and it sounds cute, on the meme and on the paper and all that.
Right.
But eventually, you got to make a decision whether you're going to walk the walk. You know what I mean? Because we all of
Exactly.
us kind of like, and especially a couple of shots. Amir and myself was hanging out Friday night. Everybody that had a few of them drinks was talking the talk. But
Yeah.
what'd you say, Amir? The one new comedian said to you in the club, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Now we're in the middle of Brooklyn.
Yeah. He
He's
said he wasn't sure. He was, he's from LA. He was like, I'm not sure, how to go about this. I said, look, bro, we New Yorkers, man. The one thing we like about being here in New York is we like real. I said, so if you get up there and just be your genuine self, only one or two things is gonna happen. Either we're gonna love you or we're gonna hate you. But either way, you gave it, you gave us you. And we appreciate that much more so than we could appreciate anything else. Because, the world is turned on its ear in some weird way where now fake is real and real is no longer, acceptable to some
Man.
people. But we come from a mind frame and a mindset where we like, no, everything that's real means something to us because I can feel the genuineness in that. All this fake stuff, I'm like, okay, if you say so. You know what I mean?
Have you ever
I definitely
impacted?
agree.
Have you ever impacted, or like you've been impacted, or you evoked impact on a person that stuck with you like over time? Like the one that stuck with me was I did a show in St. Louis years ago, and it was this white family was in the audience at a comedy club, and the lady had to be about maybe back then maybe in her 40s or whatever. And they're leaving, and everybody's shaking your hand and taking a quick picture or whatever, and say, "Oh, great show, whatever." And this family stopped me, and they just like let her come through, like, and she just grabbed my hand, held it with two hands, and was like, "You don't understand." Uh, she was diagnosed with cancer, and the doctor gave her about 6, 7 months to live, and she was like, "I haven't found anything to smile or laugh about since
That's deep.
my diagnosis." And she said, "I laughed so hard tonight. You don't understand that she gave up. Basically, she told me like I got the diagnosis and I was like, I'm gonna die in 6 months." She said, "I laughed so much in the possibility." She said, "The life it felt like I'm living again." And it drove her to want to fight it because she didn't want to fight it. She just took the diagnosis like, all right, it's over. And I never forgot that. So that stuck with me. And Amir, you ran in circles, professional athletes, entertainers from all walks of life. Have you ever had that situation that in the back of your mind and your heart, it stuck with you?
Yeah. It's funny because now, like I said, in recent months, it's just happened in terms of us doing these lives. Like I said, I've come across people walking the street and they'll come up to me and they're like, "Aren't you A-Rock Silly?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You know what? I've watched the shows and I've laughed with you, I've cried with you." And I'm like blown away because in my mind, when we're doing the shows, I'm just in the moment. I'm in the show.
Right.
I'm trying to make sure that, I'm not fumbling over my words. I'm trying to make sure, whatever I'm saying is clear and concise. So I don't think about it until I meet these people in real time and then they share with me what the impact has been on them. And then I walk away from it like, wow, like I'm, humbled by it and thankful and mindful that, there are some people who have chosen to at least listen to what it is we're talking about and the things that I'm saying. So I'm always under that, guys. And then from the other side of it, I have had like you said, the pleasure of being in and around so many impactful people, especially being in and around the industry. Too many to name, but just those moments I still drink in and I still laugh about because when they were happening, I didn't think about the impact that they were having
At
on
the
me. I
time,
just
right?
thought to myself, it's a moment, and it's
And
no
that, and
big
that's
deal.
that's the whole point of what we're talking about, right? You know what I mean? How
Yeah.
about you? Anything that sticks with you?
So no, absolutely. So let me tell you guys, when I was I want to say like 12 years old, I actually became homeless. This was like a little bit before I went into foster care, and I was sleeping like on a park bench. And when I tell you, I never during that time of my life, I never had to have sex with anybody. I never had to go hungry. I never had to do any of those things. I was always actually clean. And it was because, someone always showed up, which is why I think I'm so positive. Someone always came into my life that was like, I remember I met this guy, his name was July, and I was walking on Third Ave. And the guy, he was trying to talk to me, and I'm like, "Yo, I don't have nowhere to live. I'm 13 years old. Like, my life is a hot mess." And he was just like, he took me shopping, and he was like, "You know what? I'm taking you home to my mother. I'm not coming in this bedroom." You know what I'm saying? Until you get settled. And that was something that impacted me. And then shortly after that, I went into foster care, and it was like a village of people that didn't even have anything to do with each other, but that showed me that humanity is real. So those people, they changed my life because moving forward, all I kept saying was, well, if people have been good to me, then how could I ever not be good to someone else? You know what I mean? How could I not spread positivity? How could I not be this loving person? And how could I get on any platform and talk about, being a savage or anything like that? Because part of me surviving life was someone coming into my life and helping me through that journey. So I think that just, if you really take the time to speak to people, your life will change. And I think that this is why when I travel, I explore culture and I like to talk to my followers. I like to be engaged with their lives because you never know what they have going on that's gonna kind of flip that switch for you.
That's true. That's amazing, and that reminds me of a good deed I did. Me, I took a stripper in once, and I know it sounds crazy, but let me back up because y'all ain't
For
shit.
real, because I'm like, oh,
No, y'all ain't
what?
shit. Hold up. See, that's the thing about a comedian. Like we put it out, that shit sound crazy. Listen, so you know where Sue's rendezvous is, Amir. Now,
Yes.
ask me, you're a Jersey girl, moved to Florida. You're in Florida now, but
Hold on, no, hold on.
where you from?
No, when I came into this country, I came to New York. I am a New York
Oh,
baby,
really?
okay?
Where?
I was in group home, so I lived everywhere in New York. New York is mine, okay? I claim that
Okay, all
shit.
right, claim your shit, claim your shit. All right, but you
I
and
only moved to
you know why I
Jersey to give
believe
my
you.
daughter better schooling.
You know why I believe you? Because only New York motherfuckers do that shit right there. No, no, motherfucker.
I mean,
No,
45th Street,
don't
nigga.
let me get crazy. Don't let me get crazy, okay?
So, so this you remind me of the story because Sue's Rendezvous. It was before it closed down. It became the number one strip club in New York. Like Cats, when Giuliani took over, everybody remember he passed a couple of laws or whatever where he messed with the whole strip thing. So what happened is they've navigated into when you come out of the Bronx, you where I'm at in Westchester. So Sue's became this high profile strip club where all the Knicks, the NBA motherfuckers come to town. The rappers, everybody was there. So one night I'm in there and I meet this young lady. She had to be about maybe 19, 20 at the time. And like, I don't, you know me, I don't really do the dance thing, but I mean, the conversation, we just clicked conversation wise. And then at the end of the night, I go down the block, I go to Chicken Hut, get the little food, we get in the car, we coming up. And this girl's literally stranded. Now this is my town. I know at late night how this motherfucker could get. So I'm like, we've been talking for hours inside. I said, you good? Yeah, my car, he just canceled and he's supposed to take me. And she lived far. I don't know if it was Long Island. Yeah, it was Long Island. She lived in Long Island over an hour away. And I'm like, well, you know, you gotta get off the street. They done locked the goddamn strip club door. This shit ain't. I said, listen, you know, I had to approach this shit real mild. Like, listen, I live literally 2.5 blocks up here. I got a house. You could be in a whole fucking separate side of the house. I'm not trying to fuck with you or nothing, but I know how this shit could be. And you're a little younger about to get fucked up out here, whatever. And she was like, you know, you sure? She's all weary. We talked 10, 15 minutes. She end up coming, go upstairs to the third floor. I'm on the first floor. And when she wake up in the morning, I get her a cab. Now it's cheaper and safer. You know what I mean? She's not working that day. Cost her about $45. You know, she had the money. She went home. And from that day on, this had to be, damn, maybe 15 years ago, maybe. And to this day, we never stopped talking. Like, we cool. She lives on the West Coast, but we stayed in contact. So that story of somebody taking you in and being genuinely trying to fucking help you, give you that real humanity shit. You know what I mean? And that impact on her,
Yeah.
she pops on my live sometimes. Like she'll see a show posted, comment on it, and every time I get a chance to talk to her, she'll be like, "Listen." And when her number changes, she makes sure I get the number, and she's like, "Yo, you don't understand the impact you had on me because all motherfuckers was monsters or whatever to her in her line of work." And she was like, that right there gave her a little more hope of, okay, there's some good dudes out there. They ain't trying to just do the thing. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that reminds me of that story. Um, Also, before I let you go, because we appreciate your time popping in here, I'm going
Thank
to play
you.
this little game with you right here. We got this only thing since you're a New Yorker. That's good. So you finish the sentence, right? So when I say only in New York, you finish this sentence. Only in New York, what?
Gosh, shit, I'm horrible at games. Only in New York. I don't fucking know. I need help. Help!
It could be anything. Like only in New York are the rats bigger than poodles. You know what I mean? It could be any goddamn.
No, seriously. Only in New York you gotta travel with fucking rats on the train, like for real. And they just say hello like they know you. That's some
That's
disrespectful shit.
you remember
Only
that
in
rap?
New York will you get bumped by a person and they look at you like you did something to them. Like only in New York. Like you just did me dirty.
And only in Florida,
Is that
what?
wrong?
Only in Florida.
Only in Florida they hand out licenses because these motherfuckers can't drive for shit. Okay. I legitimately think these people hand them shits the fuck out because they don't use signals. Let me tell you, I always say, when I come on interviews and stuff, I always be like, oh, I wasn't always this graceful. Let me tell you, Florida drivers take all that gracefulness away from me. You hear me? Because they make me fucking curse. They give
Right,
me
right.
road rage like no other. Ooh, I don't know. These people are weird.
Listen, I
They're
know
weird.
because I'm in Florida every month, but the Clearwater area with my brother in Tampa and all that. Listen, I appreciate your time. We want to have you back
Thank
time to time
you.
and talk some positive shit because, I'm proud of you and the stuff that you talk is definitely helping
Thank you.
people.
Thank
So
you.
I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, here on Motivation Monday, Amir, Silly Talent, our guest, SBV. Thank you. Uh,
Can
thank you
I
for
just say
pulling the car
one
over and
thing,
talking.
guys? One thing, guys. Whoop whoop. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one thing. I also have a segment on Mondays that I do at 8:30 where I talk about money making Mondays because not only am I a life coach, but I'm also a stock trader full time, and I also
Okay.
utilize my platform to market small businesses. Um, so if you guys want to tune in, my IG is Esme_V, and I just be trying to drop gems because a 9 to 5 is not the only way to the bank.
Well, we appreciate you, man. And they need you right now. That stock shit is heavy right now. They need you.
Listen,
SB_V. Holla at your girl. Hit her up. She can help you out, people, financially. And we thank you for helping us out right now with this
Yes.
motivation month. Thank you. God bless you.
bye.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
week.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Beautiful.
Have a
You
great
too.
week.
Thank you so much. Bye.
You guys
Yes.
appreciate it. What's up, girl?
Love.
What's up? Look at my other. Look at Diva Diva. Other girl, look. She hear like a girl voice. She be wild in this one. Anyway, welcome everybody back. Motivation Monday. I'm waiting on Q. I just hit Prophet Peter, and I think
Yeah.
Q or logged out of the thing. Our second guest, affectionately known as Q Diddy. That's my boy Quincy Morris, my partner in crime. If he's in, you can bring him up. Prof. As soon as he comes in, you can always bring him up because we already at that mark in the
Yeah.
show. So if anybody logging on late or just don't know what the hell we talking about, we are on here. This Motivation Monday is Impact. Now, another reason why I wanted to bring this up, and even though we had this kind of etched in stone, we were going to do it a
Mhm.
couple of days prior. I like to dedicate today's show because it fits to my girl Sharonda. Um, we woke up to the sad news of the passing of our girl Sharonda Rogers, who was down my ace boon cooler Robin Hood Entertainment, my day one. Nobody rep the brand. It's just comedy and Robin Hood and everything that we do harder than Sharonda Rogers. If you're on social media and you've seen our shows and things that we're doing posted and events and all that stuff, that's spearheaded by the one and only Sharonda Rogers. Prayers go out to the Rogers family. Next Monday, we're going to spend a lot of time talking to those who affectionately knew Sharonda, up close and personal. And it fits today because this is somebody who had an impact on so many lives. And even though even though you know that and saying it, we know it, it's a whole different thing to experience it. So let me play this in real time for those of because people are nosy when people die. That right away, oh, what happened? Sharon had an asthma attack approximately like 3 a.m. in the morning. Now, mind you, we already talked at the top of the show. I had the 2 shows, Stress Factory. So when I got done, close to 11 o'clock, it was like 10:30, whatever it was. And by the time we finished taking pictures and selling the merch, now it's close to 11. I'm like, yo, I'm coming up on midnight. My birthday strikes at midnight. So we're going around the corner. Let's get some shots. Let's get some drinks and bring it in. So myself, Aldo, my man G, another comedian, a couple of young ladies that we know from coming to shows on the regular go around the corner, and we start to get some shots and, just waiting on midnight to come in. So we do that. The bars are closing 12:31. It's a Sunday night. Aldo and myself go to our hotel, check in. We go in and we're done. He take his weed. I don't have any more of my edibles. So I'm like, fuck. But I'm tired enough and tipsy enough. So lay it down. Now, anybody knows me, my ringer's never on my phone. That's just something I believe in. I believe in me controlling my phone and not like the other way around. Because a lot of people I see their phones control them. Every time I ring, every notification, I can't put it down. So I like to have a system where I don't have a ringer on ever. Not the vibrate, not the ringer, nothing. I look at my phone when I'm ready to look at my phone every, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20. It varies. So the phones are down. We laugh for a while, maybe right around before 2, I'm done. I'm in the bed. He goes smoke his weed or whatever. I knock out. I get up right around 5 a.m. to go to the bathroom, take a leak. So when I get back in the bed, one of the phones where it's at in the bed, I'm like, let me move this phone. I'm about to knock this thing on the floor or whatever. And when I pick it up, you know how the iPhones are, they got all the notifications already on the front. And I'm looking at it for a brief second, and I'm seeing mad notifications of like messages. So I just do the thing, open the screen, and they're dumb late at night. They're 3 something in the morning. They're 4 something in the morning. I mean, just about 5 or 6 people just calling. So I grabbed my business phone, same thing. And I'm like, what the fuck? So when I open it, the one text that stands out is my guest that I don't know what happened, unlocked. Quincy says, call me ASAP. And it's like 4 something in the morning. I'm like, first thing I'm thinking is something to do with him or, the house or whatever. So I call him, I'm half groggy, and he tells me the news that we lost Sherrod. And I'm like, what? Like I made him say it 3 times because it just can't be. And so now it's 5 a.m. Amir. So right now, this is 13 hours later. I can't go back to sleep, even right now. So we're talking. Now, here's the thing about impact. I know in my mind, a lot of us, we know a lot of people, so a lot of people knew her and whatever the case may be. But as the news starts to slowly seep out, and I got to call the people I got to call. I know Quincy called her. I know, shout out to Devin, her sister, and Alan, brother-in-law, they're calling. So as the hours are going on, the more and more people are finding out, they're piling in. And the things and the notifications and the people, what they're saying by text and by email and by instant messenger, like you're getting overwhelmed and bombarded. And you're like, yo. And I mean, people are not just saying, hey, my condolences. You're getting some of those, but you're getting like paragraphs and paragraphs of, oh, Sharonda, JoJo Collins. She said, you know what? Thank you for booking me on that last show at Arugas because I got to hug her. And I feel good with that. You know what I mean? Before it was all said and done. So now me, myself, I feel the same way. This is one time. The only thing I can say that got me feeling less fucked up as I probably would feel is Sharonda and myself really, really got to, on a daily basis, remind each other of who we was to each other and how much we meant to each other. You know how sometimes you lose people and go, damn, I ain't get to tell them, how I felt. We didn't have that at all. As a matter of fact, our last 2 exchanges were like super incredible. Like one was, I was on this birthday high and I had sent her the birthday tour flyers things or whatever. And we just got to talking about people who hate on you and who wish you bad and don't want to see the love. We got that conversation. So then here comes yesterday. And she's planning on coming to the stress. And about 1 o'clock, I get a text from Sharonda. Says, I want to read this verbatim because it was kind of deep. And what happened is, it's Mother's Day. So, Sharonda doesn't have any kids, but I expect to see her at the stress. And then expecting to see her at the stress is Mother's Day. So my brother went to my gravesite of my grandmother and my mother and my aunties. And he takes a picture and he sent it to me. So I send the picture to Sharonda, right? And she goes, wow, my babies, Miss Carol, Miss Debbie, my aunt, she said, I looked at Aunt Deb's phone number in my phone today, right? And then she sends in return a picture of her mom, who she's missing daily, Sylvia. And she go, look at Sylvia. And it's a close-up picture of the face. And she's like, look, she got my whole face, right?
Yeah.
Before that, at 1 o'clock, 12:45, she goes, I'm not feeling well, shortness of breath and fatigue. I don't think I'm gonna make it out. I'm feeling, pretty shitty. She said, I tried to call, but I'm short of breath, and so I can't really talk. So I'm texting, and I'm like, okay, sad face. Talk to you later. And then she says this profound thing of, I have to stop pushing myself to do things when I don't feel well. It only makes me feel worse. I have to listen to my body and its message that it's sending me. And that was the last correspondence of us that day. And that was 12:45. So she's notifying, okay, don't expect me because I'm not feeling well. I'm not going to make it, or whatever the case may be. And in my mind, it's like, as soon as I get done with the 2 shows, I'll talk to her later. You know what I mean? Which never, gets to transpire and stuff like that. But the impact of all the messages, people are reminiscing little parts of where, like me and you, like just last weekend, we're in DC. So she's the epitome of what we're talking about today. And next week, we're going to dedicate Motivation Monday. We're going to have a lot of guests on to talk about it. But right now, this dude right here, who's always late to everything, just came in.
What's going on, King?
Hey, StreamYard is different because my computer would not take it. So I had to cut my computer off and cut it back on and give the permission for the mic and the camera to work.
Well, you can just use your phone, right?
It was conflicting with Zoom.
You could just use your phone.
I was thinking about this because my phone, I don't have like what you guys have.
Oh, you don't have a hold?
I don't have the stand.
$1 million.
I got to hold it like this.
You make $1 million a year, you can buy $7.
Amir, I got to hold it like this and be looking at it all crazy.
So you missed what's going on? What we're talking about, bro?
No, I heard it, but y'all couldn't see me, and I just want to go and add to that. What's crazy is that Sharonda is the person, no matter how she felt, she always gonna check on you. You dig what I'm saying? No matter what's going on in her life, be like, Sharon, ain't your power off? Yeah, don't worry about that. How you doing though? You know what I'm saying? Like, she was that kind of person, and we got so many years of history with her. I was looking at pictures from 2000, 1998. Like, it's crazy. I was looking at so many things, Amir, but you speak to somebody that moment, you speak to somebody within a moment, and then that next moment, the whole narrative can change, man.
Yeah, you got it. That's why we got to do what we do when we can do it. And again, how many times do you hear me say, we ain't promised tomorrow? If I had $1 for every time I said that at a show, let's put your drinks up, let's toast, man. And, in the pandemic, to me, just reminded me and reinforced what I had already been saying. And the topic of today, I mean, Sharon is the epitome of it, but we're talking about the impact people have on each other. Like, right. in passing, we don't spend enough time to see or pay attention to said impact half the time. And it ain't until later you run into somebody randomly somewhere else that it's 5 years later and they like, yo, Q, man, that thing you told me about how to cook that food or run my kitchen, man, that joint working now, man. I appreciate boom, boom. That's impact.
Right.
That's impact. You dropped the jewel and you kept it moving. You probably ain't even play it out in your head. Hey, what kind of kitchen you got? Or do we got? You probably just dropped the jewel, kept it moving. Now this dude is the king of whatever food he cooking and whatever city he's doing it in. And I think that today's message is to push people to take you. It's impossible to get it every time, but at least pay more notice. Take more notice of these times, and not just the impact you having on somebody. Sometimes they have it on you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Amir, what you think?
I think, I think you're absolutely right, man. I really feel like, it's funny because we always say that, things happen for a reason. And I'm sure there is a portion of, what happens to you has something to do with that. But I think the biggest portion of it is your energy and what you're putting in the universe. And to the point of impact and what we all bring to the table, that's really what you're getting in return. If you're one of those people who is always trying to pour into other people's cups, you're always trying to, as Quincy just shared, be like Sharonda and check on, your fellow man or woman.
Right.
Um, it always just throws you, when you see or you hear of something happening that seemingly happened in a flash. But the bigger thing is just knowing that if you go about your daily day, and as Lord Finesse says sometimes, um, don't count the days, make the days count. If you
Mm,
go into your day with that kind of energy, if you go into the day with that kind of train of thought, you'll always find yourself in a space and in a place where you know that there is something moving bigger and greater than you. And the beauty of that is you don't have to tap into it. Just let
right.
it manifest itself the way it's going to manifest itself. And, to the point that you made, T, it'll come back to you at the most interesting moments you won't even believe. You're like, wow, I can't believe this happened. But you put that in motion maybe a year ago. You put that in motion 6 months ago. You put that in motion 20 minutes ago. But you don't realize that that's what you've done when you allow yourself be at a space and in a place where you're giving of yourself
Right.
and then allowing the universe to then give back in whatever format that may be. And I say this, humbly to a lot of people too. Please, if you cannot or do not feel like you're giving something truly from your heart, then don't do it. It's okay to say no. It's okay to shut it down and don't give. Wait till it's coming from the place where it's supposed to come from, which is just from a genuine place, because that has way more impact than all of this. I'm doing it for the gram. I'm doing it, to making it. No, impact comes from you just doing it what's right and what is perceived to be right and letting that be speak for itself. Don't do it because there's an ulterior motive or there's, you got some other weird thing that you're
Agenda
trying to
for
do with people. I hate that.
And I mean, and that's that again. I like what you said because that's Sharonda again. Like, let's go back to the beginning of Sharonda, day one, and being a part of Robinhood. Now, in the early stages of Robinhood over 20 years ago, you do this, the women, and it's like 10 or 12 of us all total now over the years. But these are people, Amir, that Sharonda, first and foremost, that come on board. There's not a nickel to be made for them. They're seeing something and they go, yo, how can I be down? How can I help? And I want to help. What y'all need us to do. And me and Q will come, and whether it's a ski trip, whether it's a craft feast, whether it's a Jamaica excursion, whether it's a comedy show, a concert, throwback, whatever it is, whether we rent it out there, pop, didn't matter. What could I do to help? I mean, you fast forward all those years. Now there's financial opportunity in it, but that's not why they got on board.
right.
They came on board because they seen something and said, hey, how could I help this thing? How could I be down? And whatever the case may be. And that was the epitome of a Sharonda. We spoke on this thing all the time. And I didn't hesitate, fast forward, maybe let's say that's the first 7, 8, 10 years or whatever. Fast forward, when there was an opportunity, I'm like, you know what? On this joint right here, we have the incentive of boom, boom, boom. We're going to pay you, per person or per promo or per commercial, whatever the hell, per flyers or what, those things came later. But when you come in on the foundation, like you said, no ulterior motive, nothing other than I like this vibe, I like what's going on, I like these people. How can I be down? And nobody, I said this 100 times before this day is out. Nobody promoted Robinhood and stood up for it. It's just comedy and talent and Q Diddy like a Sharonda Rogers. You understand what I'm saying? And my cousin said something, I think the most impactful thing said today when I'm hitting my family, because Sharonda was family. That's a fact. And I'm hitting my family, my cousins, my sisters, brothers, and my cousin Bless says, and I was like, yo, I said, what the fuck, man? How you die on my birthday? And my cousin Bless said, Well, T, that's her way. No, he said, knowing Sharonda, that's her way. You'll never forget the day she left.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And that shit, the impact of that line, he said, bruh, you know Sharonda. He said, knowing how she is, she left on a day you can never forget when she left.
Never.
Yeah.
So from here on out, ladies and gentlemen, if you came on late, it's my birthday. It's May 9th. Taurus the Bull. And he's right, 100%. And the birthdays will never be the same. Now, I'm celebrating and living for two of our spirits. And even more because she left Devin here, Alan here. Mom and dad is gone. And here's the scary thing, speaking to her sister today. And again, perspective and impact. Devin goes, she says, T, she said, brother, I don't know how to feel about the fucking month of May. She said, I'm so sorry. And I hate when people apologize for certain shit. But she's like, I'm so sorry that happened on your day. And I'm like, don't apologize to me. She said, but I don't know how the fuck to feel about May. You know, I lost one parent on the 12th. I lost one parent on the 24th, and my sister on the 9th. All in the month of May. And I said, girl, you can hate May for all the fuck I can, because that's more than enough reasons to have it. But understand the huge family you got outside of your immediate, that none of us, Sharonda put the work in. She put the work into the point where we are now charged with making sure her people she left behind is okay. I'm motivated to do that.
Facts.
Take us away, Amir. Motivation Monday. Q, thanks for popping in. We'll call you in a minute, big brother.
Hey, as always, guys, it's Motivation Monday. You heard, we lost our dear, and I like I said, she's so many words, and we'll get into that in more detail, like Tanner said, next week. But Sharonda, rest well, sleep in peace. We can't wait to see you again.
Yes.
And more importantly, job well done. Job well done. But bigger than that and better than that, we hope that you guys take away from this particular Motivational Monday the word impact, and hopefully what it means to you and how you can take that ideology, implement it in your lives, utilize it to motivate, utilize it to put somebody in a space that they need to be in. And it goes from everything from your words to your actions, like I said earlier, to anything else that you can do. Unconditional love. You're absolutely right, Shauna. We have to learn how to utilize that part of our being and make the world a better place. Check on your friends, text message, phone calls. Take care of yourselves. Please, y'all, take care of yourselves. Whatever that may be, whatever it looks like to and for you, please take care of yourself. And as I always tell y'all, every week, it's nice to be important, but it's much more important to be nice. Utilize that in your everyday. I promise you, it'll open doors for you and make things happen that you'll never even thought possible, because it has that kind of energy to it. I love you all. I thank you all for always tuning in every Monday. The King, is his birthday. Happy birthday and salute. Talent. Q,
Yes,
this
sir.
year and every birthday year going forward is dedicated to Sharonda Rogers. I'm heading to the Bronx to toast in your honor, and I agree. I second the motion. Job well done. Motivation Monday. We love y'all, man. Be safe.